Hey guys, this is Michael from TeensTech.com, and here with a quick look/review of the new Microsoft Surface Pro running full Windows 8. This is their Microsoft's second Surface product, second tablet. This one, rather than the Surface RT, which ran a Tegra 3 processor, this one actually has a full Core i5 processor with 4 gigs of RAM and a either 64 or 128 gigabyte solid-state drive, and it runs full Windows. You have all your legacy apps, and the apps that are actually good, such as VLC, Photoshop, Illustrator, iTunes, all that stuff, you can actually run on this product. So let's kind of just start out with hardware. As you can see, it is relatively slim compared to, I guess, a full-on desktop or a large laptop or even an Ultrabook. I believe it's about 15 millimeters thick, or 14 millimeters thick. So we can kind of go around the side. Here you have a volume up and down button, one USB port, only a single USB port, so that might be a bummer for some of you. But the charger that attaches to this, that goes into the wall, the AC charger, actually has a built-in USB, so you can charge your phone. Here we have a microphone. We have an SD card, micro SD card slot that can hold up to 64 gigs. So if you buy a 64 gig Windows 8 Pro Surface, you can make it 128 gigs by plugging in a 64 gig SD card. We have a magnetic charger port that magnetically connects, much like the MacBook's line in the last 7 years. We also have a mini display port, so you can connect it to any larger display. Down bottom we have a awesome connector, I'll show you in a bit, that actually enables you to connect an iPad-like cover that they will most likely release a keyboard that has a built-in charger, built-in battery, which would be really nice. And then there also is a headphone jack. I forgot about that piece. And lastly, power button, right? Other than just the buttons on the side, I also noticed that there is this kind of thin layer up top that covers everything. That's kind of separate from the unibody feel. What that is actually a exterior fan, not a fan, an exterior place where the fan actually comes out, that allows so that the heat dissipates much more easily rather than having one spot for all the heat to go out. Here it's actually going all around. So when you hold it like this, you actually feel the air go out a little bit on your side, and it makes it relatively cool rather than being very hot. So that's pretty cool. Bummer, it makes it a little thicker, but I think it's overall worth it due to it having a full Core i5 processor. Also, as you can see right here, there's a little slit right there. What that is it actually is a built-in stand at a, I believe, 22-degree angle. So you can actually hold the tablet up just like that, which is pretty nice, especially with the new keyboard that you can get with it. Super stable, you really can't knock it down. You can sort of hold it like this, but due to its weight, it's a little bit hard. It's about only 2 pounds, which is much lighter than a MacBook Air or even any other Ultrabook, but it is much heavier than a tablet, which is a Nexus 10 or an iPad. So you kind of have this trade-off between weight and size if you compare it to a Mac or a Ultrabook, or if you compare it to a tablet, which is the iPad. As you can see, there also have a Windows button down here, which is a haptic feedback that allows you to turn on the device or enter the home screen. So, we can kind of just enter in here, kind of look around. This is made of a magnesium alloy, or what they call vapor mag. So it's super durable, haven't got a single scratch on it, which is super cool. So here's a normal Windows 8 UI, it's a normal thing. Compared to the RT, compared to really many Windows 8 laptops and tablets, this thing is just super snappy. As Microsoft optimized everything within Windows to work on this device perfectly. So the touch input's great, everything opens super quickly, messaging instantly. You can open news, it's really just fast. On the Windows RT, you'd have that little circle this circle right here, go on for about ever, which was really annoying, about 7 seconds to open app. Here, everything's instant and you can close apps really quickly. Which is super nice. So, I mean, most of you guys should know the gesture of Windows 8, so I'm not going to show that around, but overall, the OS works amazingly well on this device, which is pretty great. Now, as I show you the OS, you guys can actually see the quality of the display. Oh, that's me. It's getting the facial recognition. The quality of the display is amazing. It's 1080p display, meaning it won't be as crisp as an iPad or a Nexus 10, but you really can barely see the pixels, and the viewing angles are just crazy, as you guys can see. Like, it's great. Plus, the color calibration is supposedly very good. I'm not very good at color calibration, but I think it looks great. Everything just pops. Very, very little light leak. I do have some on the side here, but you really can't tell. It's just a super beautiful display. So definitely get this if you want a display that actually looks great. So you guys can also see that if we go, whoops, my bad, to the desktop, you have a full Windows running on here. So you can have a full Internet Explorer if you're actually weird and you want to use that. Or if you're normal, you can use some Chrome. Internet speeds are crazy fast due to having a full-on browser. So touch optimization in Chrome is not very good. In IE, it's very good, and in specifically this Internet Explorer, it's great. This is the touch-optimized version. I'd say with this device, having the desktop and Metro UI kind of collide works relatively well. So if you want to get true work done, you press desktop. If you don't, you use IE10, you use other touch-optimized apps, you use OneNote, this OneNote instead of that OneNote. One's touch-optimized, one is sort of touch-optimized. It works relatively well. Once they combine most of the apps together, it'll be pretty nice. But right now, it's definitely not that bad. We also have what comes with this. I'm going to show you the awesome keyboard. So as you can see, like, this doesn't necessarily work very well as a work device due to being the size of an Nexus 10 and can't really do much due to having really no keyboard. So what Microsoft decided to do with both the Surface RT and the Surface Pro is have two keyboard options. Number one is the touch cover, which is ultra thin, the thickness of a smart cover with the iPad. That pretty much is just a touch panel that allows you to type, click on raised keys that has no movement, and you have a little haptic feedback with sound, and you touch, and you sort of have to think about where the keys are. It's kind of hard because you have no feeling of what you're clicking, and that works for some people. It worked for some people with the RT, and some people still sort of like it. But this is the productivity product for $129 versus $119 of the touch cover. This is called a type cover. This actually has real keys, as you can see. The keys actually move down, and actually has pretty good distance. I think it works very well. As you can see, it's ultra thin. I think it's only a few millimeters thick. And what's really cool, as you guys can see from the RT and Pro commercials, is, turn the screen off, this thing has crazy magnets. So it will not come off. As you can see right here, like, this could end really tragically, but I am floating this on top. Like, it is holding, the magnet is holding the surface, which is really cool. So the way this works is, it is super thin, super nice, just like the smart cover. But when you open it up, and you put the kickstand down, and you press a key or turn it on, let's see, you enter in, you have a full-on trackpad right here, you have the keyboard, works very well. Like, in general, it is a good keyboard. Compared to some others. I mean, compared to a Mac, it's not as good as it doesn't have distance, and the keys are so close together, but they're large keys. And the trackpad works pretty well. Not great, but I'm used to an X201 ThinkPad that is a tiny little trackpad, so it's pretty good compared to that. And in general, I mean, it's a good keyboard, and I like it, so let's put that away. And it comes off super easily, protects the screen, doesn't get dirty very easily, and that just goes away. Now I have a productivity device. When you have a keyboard on. Another thing you can do with the keyboard is put it behind, as you can see right there, and then put the kickstand down to have more stabilization, especially on your lap. On the lap, it's kind of hard because it's kind of like, it's like this, and especially when you're trying to type and you're trying to hold like that stand on your lap, like on your hand, it's a pretty hard thing to do as things fall over. The stand isn't super strong, so having this behind here if you watch a movie on your lap is pretty helpful. Let me just take that off. Done. So I can kind of just show you around kind of general specs and whatnot. Battery life on this thing, for me it's not been that bad, as I've gotten about 5 to 6 hours if I make a certain power mode. If I don't try, I'm getting 4 to 5 hours, which is pretty good compared to some other laptops. I mean, even my MacBook Air will die within an hour and a half if I'm doing something intensive. So that's sort of a usual thing. So battery life is definitely not that bad, especially when the battery pack comes out. I can show you the magnetic charger is right here. As you can see, if it focuses in on it, it has little magnetic connectors, and on this side you can just let it snap in. If you hover over it, it'll sort of go in, and that's pretty nice. It charges. You have an LED on top that will tell you if it's going. Sometimes it's not plugged in. And what's nice is, let's say you trip the wire can just fly right off, which is pretty nice compared to most PCs other than Macs. And another really cool thing is that one reason I bought this product for as my main device is the pen. It actually has a full Wacom digitizer, and with 1024 pressure sensitivity and the usual DPI, which is pretty nice. The way this pen works is, rather than there being a slot to save space, Microsoft had it stick in the magnetic connector for the charger. So you can see this is actually a button, a right-click button, and it'll snap right in there to then have on your desk or whatnot. The one issue is, like, it works. If I carry this around, it's not going to come off. But if you put it in your backpack, try not to turn the screen off. Put it in your backpack, like, it's definitely not the strongest thing. So if you flick it off, it gets off pretty easily. Plus, the metal, the paint covering the metal is coming off pretty easily right now. So that's kind of a bummer. But in general, it is a great product. I love it. The pen works super well. I can show you. They actually, what Microsoft did is they created this, they weren't connected, or they lessened the distance between the digitizer and the glass and the screen, so it feels like you're actually writing on the screen. I believe it's only like a 0.5 millimeter distance between the pen and the pixels versus about a millimeter for every other product. So I can show you with, I'll show you on the real OneNote. You can see right here, this is my math class, which is great. I've been using this as my main device for taking notes. As you can see, you get the hovering dot. It's actually really good calibration, so you can't really see it very well, but it hovers over. If you hover over all these things, it all goes. And writing works really well. 3x squared over 2. You can zoom in with pinch to zoom. Edit this. The back of the pen is an eraser, and the pressure sensitivity is pretty good, as you can see. I went harder and softer, and you can see it got pretty thicker. I like it a lot. It works very well. I'm not very used to digitizers, but compared to what I've tried on the Galaxy Note 10.1, this is a lot better compared to the TM2 by HP. I like this a lot better as well. So it works pretty well. My one gripe is that this pen is $29 on Microsoft's website, but really it feels like a mechanical pencil. As you can see, it looks just like one. And it feels just like one. It's a cheap plastic product. So if you really want to get a nice pen, you can actually buy pens online that work with tablet PCs. So I'd recommend doing that. Can I just show you also the, I can get a PC info. We have a 5.6 in the Windows experience, which is not bad, as you can see, or bottlenecked by the, let's see, wow, you really can't see this. That's weird. Okay, well, we were bottlenecked by the gaming performance, which is the biggest bummer. You have 5.6 in gaming due to desktop graphics, which is a bummer. As you can see, we're going to try out mirror's edge, which I got for this device, and it works relatively well. One thing, if you install the Intel drivers, this is an HD 4000, it comes with Core i5. If you install the drivers, you can actually have a 720p game be fully scaled up to the full 1080p display, which is what I did here. So it works pretty well. You can't put on all the anti-aliasing and all that stuff, but in general, the game runs. So if you guys can see, let's continue the game. This is also an old game, sort of, so shouldn't expect too much. You actually connect a Xbox controller to here, and it works pretty well. So you can see, it looks pretty good. It works pretty well. This is actually, I'm getting about 30 frames per second on these settings. So it's pretty good. I mean, you can definitely game on this device, but definitely you want to wait for Haswell if you really want a game. So you can see, like, I think I can just run off the cliff. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's... And also, as you can hear from here, the audio is not all that bad. It gets pretty tinny, but the quality is pretty good. Compared to MacBook Air, I'd say it's on par. Compared to some other Ultrabooks, I'd say it gets a little worse. It doesn't have any special Dolby or anything like that. You can also compare the thickness to other devices. I have a MacBook Air right here. So you can kind of compare it to the back. As you can see, it is a tiny bit thicker, but not by a lot. It gets a little thicker from over here, but in general, it's a little bit thicker, but it's still pretty thin. But the biggest thing is, as you can see, I'm going to zoom out, is the size difference. Carrying around this tiny little laptop, the Surface, is way easier than carrying around the MacBook Air, and it's way lighter. So it's a little thicker, but you can put it on your arm and not worry about people thinking you're carrying a huge laptop around, not worry about it being too heavy. It's just a much more portable device. Now, on the other hand, we can compare it to a Nexus 10 right over here. Nexus 10 is 10.1 inches. Surface Pro is 10.6 inches, you can see. Surface Pro is a little bit larger, but in general, it's the same size this way. Just like tablets are much easier to carry around, unlike laptops. Surface Pro pretty much gets best of both worlds. Thickness-wise, though, you can tell there's a huge discrepancy. And same with weight. This thing is just a lot heavier. But you can tell at thickness which one wins in that regard, which is the Nexus 10, which is only 8mm versus 15mm, with double the thickness. But it only has a small dual-core processor that is a ARM processor. So that is the Surface Pro. I would totally recommend it for anybody who wants a laptop/tablet, or wants really an ultra-portable tablet that can be as productive as a laptop. I'm going to be using this along with my MacBook Pro, so it's a great secondary device if you're willing to spend the extra money. It's $9.99 for the 128 gigabytes and 64 gigs. It will be $8.99 currently on Best Buy and Microsoft's website and Microsoft Store. Plus the touch cover is $119 and the type cover is $129. So if you want to compare it to MacBook Air, you'll have to be spending about $1,100, which is actually on par with their charging. So you have to add on the type cover. Plus there's actually a warranty for only $99 that allows you to have full protection. Complete protection allows if you crack it or drop it, they'll fix it for free. I'd recommend this, and also due to the fact that it'll have great resale value due to it being a really pretty product. It's really pretty, plus it having kind of the highest tech right now, and it being fully supported by Microsoft. That's super helpful, just like Apple products are supported by Apple. Google products like the Nexus 10 supported by Google. Those usually have better resale, and those usually have better support, so that's really great. So don't forget to read a full review. I'll be writing one on our website, teenstech.com, and like the video, plus subscribe to us at Teens Tech Reviews YouTube. Thanks. This is Michael. See you later.